never, ever buy this type of, or this brand of toilet. It's a Mansfield. Mansfield double flush on the top. It's supposed to be very economical, so you can, like, the small button, you can program it to flush small amounts, and then of course the large one is for larger amounts of water. Well, the problem is these buttons are very, very hard to push, right? So you can see my finger bending. So it's not like just a little floppy valve thing here that, you know, you can use all your fingers. You either have to use your thumb on it or two fingers, but I've had occasions where I've gone to push it with one and like almost jam my finger. So you can see how much force I'm putting on it. See my finger getting all pink. And then the other danger, and then you can't set this down because of these things. So you try to set it down, and you either take a chance of breaking these things, or it'll just fall over. So you gotta flip it over. It'll mold on there. So this is the Mansfield model 3386, and it's got this device here. And the other undesirable feature of this is that there's no, you look in here, there's really no indication of what to do or how to adjust it. So when we first got here, when you push the smaller quantity button, it literally would open the valve and close the valve. And then same thing with the big one. So apparently the previous owners never set it to where it was an appropriate amount of flush. Now it claims 1.1 gallon per flush, or something 6 liters per flush. But I'll show you how to adjust it in a minute, and I'll try to put time stamps so you can skip to relevant sections of this video. The biggest problem I have with this thing is that if you notice, the two buttons are down and they're supposed to be up like this, right? So when you push one, it's supposed to pop back up. Well, yesterday my wife said, when was the last time I used this toilet? And I was like, well, I haven't. She goes, oh no, because the last time she used it was like a day before. So this thing has been stuck in the down position running the whole time. So unless you stand here and you wait for it to fill up and stop, you don't know that it's stuck open. It'll just stick open like this, and right, and you can try to push on. There it goes, but it'll stick open sometimes. And so depending on how often you use the particular toilet in the house, you could be running water in the toilet for days. So what I'm doing today is I'm changing this valve out for a new one. And these things aren't cheap, and that's the other problem with these. A common flapper valve is like $2-3. That's right, $30, $29.39. So how you get this thing out is, you see this little keyway down here. There's a keyway right there, and depending on how this is positioned, it may be turned a different way. And then you want to turn this tower, just grab a hold of it and turn it until it lines up with that little notch, and then this will come right out. After you figure out how to put them in, they're relatively easy to put in, but it's not very intuitive. So you see these two locating lugs here. This is what comes, the whole shoot match. So all you have to do, really, if everything else looks okay, is just to replace the tower part of it. So I'll show you on the old one. And also that green collar thing there, this thing here, this will leak too. I actually had to replace the whole thing. You can't just buy this little washer, right? So this was leaking in one of the other toilets, and we had to buy the whole assembly just to replace this little flapper deal. So anyway, doesn't really matter. So what you do is there's little tabs right there, or little keyways there, and to put it in, you just, I don't know if there's enough light. You just locate, match those two keyways to there, push it down, and then just rotate it to where you need it. It feels wrong, but you can just turn this any way you want, depending on you know, where this tube is set. If this tube was set, you know, more this way, you can cant it to where it matches up with the two buttons. So how you adjust it is you look here. This side says the half flush, and this side says the full flush. So to adjust the half flush, you look here and it says less and more. Okay, it's kind of hard to see. Less right there in the light, and more. And there's really no instructions that I could find either online or with the product that says what you have to do, or if you have to push a spring tab or something. But the way you adjust it is you actually just have to brace it on something and then just pull really hard. Okay, see, it goes up. You just gotta pull really hard. See? Let me show you on the old one. So here's the old one. You just pull down on it, and if you want more or less, you push up. But again, it's not very intuitive, and it just feels wrong. Just feels wrong to put that much force on it. Of course, they make it harder to go down because they don't want you to use more water, I guess, but it's just a pain to adjust this thing. Well, it's a fine howdy do. I just realized I'm trying to adjust this new one down, and they got a limit stop on the flusher. The old ones don't have a limit stop. This one has a limit stop. See how that little ridge there? That gray piece of plastic that's higher than the other ridges? You're supposed to be able to lower all this down. So I don't know if that has to do with some kind of laws or something, but I killed myself trying to get this thing down, and it wouldn't go down. So I have to get me a Dremel and file that sucker all the way down. What? This freaking green environmentalism debacle's just gotta stop. This is madness. Well, that's what happens when you mess with an engineer. I just scraped those little limit stoppers. I just don't get it. Why? I mean, this is a private citizen's property. Why would you limit that? Mansfield, you suck. Okay, so this is where how much water would go down if I hadn't taken those little limit stops out. So this is at the level that it was set at that I couldn't surpass. So here's the low flush. That's it. That's all the water you get. So that's what the bowl looks like with the low flush on their default limit setting. So let's do the big one with their limit set and see how much water I get for the number 2. Yeah, not much better. So let me set it down lower. So just got to get my finger down in here and push. There we go. I'm about, I don't know, half an inch from the bottom. And this one is, I'd say about an inch from the bottom. So if you look here, so this is all the way down to about right here. On the half flush, it's about here. On the full flush, it's about here. So let's see what the half flush does now. Much better. Okay, I went ahead and replaced this little valve here that came with the thing, and yeah, this one's pretty cruded up, so might as well. I paid for it. All right, now let's check out the full flush. Oh yeah, the power of water. I might increase that a little bit. Sometimes number 2 needs a little more encouragement. I did notice the new valve I've got in there, the gray one. It is a little bit less tight, so it takes a little bit less force, and you can push it with one finger without jamming your finger. Alright, so that wraps up my thoughts on the Mansfield dual flush type toilet. I don't recommend it, and it really doesn't fix a problem that we've had ever. So don't buy it unless you want something that's, hard on your fingers, hard to adjust, hard to fix, cost a lot to fix, and is prone to leaking, and is prone to sticking open, wasting you more money. Yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. I'll try to answer your questions best I can, but I do not, cannot, will not recommend buying this type of toilet. So there. Later.